What's up, guys? I'm Levi, and in this new series, I'm going to tell you how you can afford your second Bugatti. I feel like Andrew Tate might actually be like too cringy to meme. I don't know about this. Welcome, my friend, to another Alliteration gaming video. My name's Levi, and today we've at the start of a brand new series called Wealthy Aspirations, where I, Mr. Moneyman Banker Levi, are going to just take you through CCG Player, and we're just going to do like a little type of, market overview, market watch style segment. A lot of people have dipped their hats into these pools before. I think it's a fun thing to do. I think the secondary market of this game is not being covered super intensely right now, and I think there are some really interesting things going on aside from just set 2 costs almost nothing, right? So I have things broken down by each set here, and we're just going to go through each different rarity and just kind of take a gander at what's going on with, certain cards, certain XRs, things like that. If I ever get back to streaming on any kind of like semi-normal schedule, this is definitely a thing that I would love to do on stream. I think it's like a very little, just kind of chill segment that's enjoyable to do, but for now it's going to be in video format that may change in the future. But either way, let's just get right into it. So starting with set 1, we have the secret rares. The secret rares are still pretty much what you expect them to look like. This is kind of what I expect like really solid secret rares that are played in a pretty wide variety of decks, more so Nitro than anything, but they're both pretty much what you would expect them to be. I think going forward, secret rares are not going to look like this anymore. I think they realized like the power level of cards, like specifically Nitro, but even full Cowling in some decks sees a lot of play just around the field, and I think they've kind of realized that they made them probably stronger than they want secret rares to be, not necessarily in the sense of like power level, but in the sense of like, hey, this is going to see play in a lot of decks. These are not niche cards, right? Like, these are not niche secret rares. These are really strong, solid cards that deserve to be in a lot of decks, and then are also just happen to be the secret rare rarity. So I think they're always going to float between like the $20, $30 price points until we eventually push them out of the meta, which I also don't see being a thing for all. They're also just great for like collectors, right? I think these are probably always going to be between the low end of 20 and the high end of 30. Moving on to the ultra rares for set 1, kind of the same old for the most part. Heatwave is back at its big old $30. It was kind of a little cheaper for a while, but it's back at its big $30 price point. Set 2 is coming out. They're even more ranged for your packages and all of these symbols. Things are getting crazy. The Endeavor decks like Frigid Heatwave is just kind of always be that much, and I hope that if that reprint type of special set is a thing, that Heatwave is definitely one of the cards that deserves to be in it. It's going to be up here for a long time. Naval Laser finally kind of finding some like actual price point around the $10, $11 point. Ice Storm is starting to rise back up there as well. Makes a lot of sense. This card is everywhere. This card definitely deserves to be at least $10. Just Chaos, Fire, Water, all really popular symbols, and just getting even stronger in set 2. Detroit being 6 is kind of surprising. That one's starting to work its way up from the ashes, but hey, a lot more people are starting to run those decks, especially with set 3 on the horizon. Obviously, Lashing Band costs nothing now. Evil Gaze, Texas Smash, both really reasonable. These are definitely $5 to $8 cards right here. And then pretty much everything is, $1 or $2 or less. I think a lot of these do not deserve to be this cheap. I think once set 3 comes out, we're gonna see potentially Reciprocal Burst be a lot more. I think we might see Tape Swing come up on the I think we might see Tape Swing come up on the horizon. It's kind of hard though. This is a really good card, but like, it's just, I don't know, the decks that play it are starting to kind of just like fall on the downward. Staff Strike is a lot harder to play in set 3 environment. Cloth Capture, I think, is one that will easily hit that $5 price point. I think that one gets a lot better in a set 3 world. There are a lot more decks that can actively utilize this much more. Tokoyami is going to be insane in set 3. I would keep an eye on Dark Shadow Ruin for sure. Meteors, I think, will always deserve to be at least a little more than this. It's just a really great versatile card. Same goes for Turn to Dust. I think Fire and Evil get a lot better in set 3, and this is a very like staple generic attack for them. But overall, nothing too crazy going on in the set 1 ultra rares. Kind of a lot of what you expect to see. The good ones are the good ones are fairly expensive, and then the solid ones are way cheaper than they have any right being, but that's just kind of how it's always been. Moving on to the XRs for set 1. The XSRs, I'm sure these are the unlimiteds, you know, we can kind of like go through them. So like the set 1 unlimited first ed is actually pretty crazy because like some of them actually garner like a pretty big price difference. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at 185 for the first ed and then 76 for the unlimited. So obviously, if you want these first ed, it's always gonna be pretty tough. This is actually, the 185 is way cheaper than the rest of them on the market. So this like might be a good deal if you're looking to pick up first ed XSRs. And again, you know, you're looking at 60 for the unlimiteds, and then do we even have first eds? Yeah, our only first ed is sitting up here at 245. So pretty crazy stuff on the secret rares there. Again, these are really, really big collector's items. So if you want that first ed and that stamp, it's going to cost you a very, very, very pretty penny. Going into the world of much more realistic XRs, Ice Walls definitely kind of down for their market price. I wonder if that 62 is what's going on with first eds. No, first eds are around the $30 price point. 10s and 11s for the normal ones. Yeah, that's about kind of what I would expect. Frigid Heatwave XRs sitting up there in the 50s. First ed's probably a lot more. Ice Storm XRs, very interesting stuff going on here. This one was like 60 to 80 for the longest time, and they were definitely selling at that price point too. But we're finally kind of settling in like the $20-30 range for about half or so, or I guess a quarter or so on the market right now. And then once you start entering the first eds, that's where like the $60 price point starts really coming back in. But if you want XR Ice Storms, I think now is finally time to pick them up. I don't think they'll ever be cheaper than $20. I think $20 is a steal for XR Ice Storms, so if you're in the market for those, it's a good time. Dark Shadow, another historically very, very insanely expensive XR from this set, rising back up to its $40 price points. It was floating through like 10 to 25 for a long time. See, so it was sold at, you know, this is just, you know, a couple weeks ago, one sold $10, 18, 19, $10, 13, 18. First eds were still selling for these crazy $40 price points, but now it seems that that's all that we've got left on the market. So I wonder if we're going to see people post unlimiteds, but I don't think they'll be $10 again if we do see people post unlimiteds. So keep an eye on those for sure. XR Soundwave, another historically very, very expensive XR, now is selling for very, very reasonable prices. Still a pretty penny if you want the first eds, but again, you can get the unlimiteds for super duper cheap now. I don't know if these will be around forever. I would definitely jump on those. XR Erase kind of has seen a really hard downward spiral since the RLE one came out, but you can still pick them up for pretty cheap. I don't really see them getting this expensive ever again. I think this is becoming a much less desired one as time goes on. This was one of the premiums back when the set first came out, but now everyone wants those sweet RLE ones. Reverse Throw has also kind of been one that's always kind of gone between some really intense $20 price points. It seems that that price point is finally breaking. You can now pick them up for 30s and 40s. I don't know if they'll ever get cheaper than that again. Detroit's a pretty reasonable price. XR Meteor Showers also falling pretty hard. XR Evil Gazes, these used to be insane. You can now pick these up for very reasonable prices. Indiscriminate Shock, again, one of those legendary expensive XRs. The Unlimited is actually fetching some reasonable prices here. Of course, if you want that first ed, it's going to be insane. So glad I have 4 of these first ed. Probably never getting rid of those for just the rest of my lifeline, quite speaking. Nightwatch XRs also getting really cheap now. I think even the first eds are becoming like a reasonable-ish, like $20. Yeah, but if you don't care about that, you can pick up the Unlimiteds for super duper cheap. I actually think that these are kind of insane for like $5 or $6. I would snag these up if you want some, because I think this is much more of a normal price for the unlimited there. $5 for even unlimited night watch is a really good deal. Hardened Jabs also kind of starting to actually exist now. This one gets bought out over and over again. Looks like one actually sold for 70 recently. I feel like that cannot be real. That can't be real. It's gotta be a shop behind its own card there. But these historically go really crazy. I mean, look at these are meme prices right here. $45 for lightly played. Let's freaking go, baby. But there's actually a couple reasonably priced unlimited ones on the market, so if you want them, might be a good time to get them. XR Frog Lashing, very unplayable, but a very pretty card. Destin's actually looking really reasonably priced. Gonna be a staple till the end of time. I would definitely pick those up if you want. Passing the Torch just gets better and better. 15 for the XR is pretty reasonable. These poor XR Unwaverings. I cry for my set. I cry so hard from my set. Chop looking kind of reasonable. XR Dark Shadow Ruins are $4. That's insane. If you're a Tokoyami player, drop 16 bucks and get this set. It looks so good. Requesting also been kind of a crazy one in the past. We got one up for, you know, $9 here, and then they just get crazier and crazier after that. I recently finished my set out. Someone had posted a couple for like $3 or $4, and I snagged them up real quick. XR Region's only $8, looking really, really nice there. A lot of really nice like staple attacks here within the $10 range. I feel like any XR that goes full art that's under $10 from set 1 is just such a good deal. Setup Strike looks like that got bought out again. That one is also kind of one of those floaters that comes on and off the market for insane prices. Looks like we had a few days ago. A couple got bought at $15, stuff like that, and then a bunch of $10 before that. But looks like that era might be over as it continues to just climb. And then kind of just everything else being like, you know, the $5 range or so. These get bought out a lot and kind of come back on the market. Floating between like 10, 15-ish. $20 is probably a lot to pay on these. I don't know if I'd ever pay that. Is quite a pretty penny. These only being $7 is crazy. It looks so good. These only being 14 is crazy. It looks like XR Future Chargers are gone. That's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on there. Jolt's $8, also really nice if you don't want to spend the pretty penny to get the RLEs. Those are nice ones. Manly for 11 I think is a pretty good deal. I feel like those aren't going to be around forever. Quick Creates being 5, definitely a lot less of a global card now that Unwavering is gone, but still a pretty nice pickup. These hitting the $9 mark now. I picked up a bunch of these when they were like $3 or $4. Again, I just think this card just gets better and better as we go further and further into set 3. A lot more cards can actively utilize a card like Binding Cloth Capture right now, and I think it's just going to continue to be a lot of stonks. I think XR Apathetics are cheaper than they have any right being. That card is crazy. A lot of the character cards from set 1 as well are also just like super duper cheap. $3 for Self-Assureds. These used to be like insane, man. $1 for Grasping Tape Toss, $3 for Merciless Rush. I mean, these cards are just like so many beautiful cards just going for like dollars here. I feel like these are all just really, really good investments. And if you're just looking to like foil out your deck, it's kind of never been easier. Even Release, one of the most like meta defining cards ever, $3.70. Like, bro, pick them up. I think it's crazy that a lot of these cards are so cheap. I need to get me some late risers. This card is freaking stonks in set 3. But overall, that's kind of it for the XRs in set 1. A lot of things just kind of being like way cheaper than they have any right being. I think like any XR that goes full art that's like under $5 is just an insanely valuable pickup. Alright, and then lastly for set 1, we'll get to the promos. Promo market is always crazy. A lot of these season 1 RLEs are super duper expensive now. You know, they hit that like $60, $70 price point again. Sometimes they get bought out at that, and now we're seeing crazy stuff for something like Specialist of Sound. A lot of these just really holding their value. A lot of the provisional promos holding their value, plus Ultra promo wise, plus Ultras are actually holding hella value. Crow and Frogs are finding their ways towards being huge actual price points again. The kicks, Pillar Swings being $9 for regular, $5 for victory. These victories are going to get snagged up pretty quick, I think. Again, these aren't like even like super duper heavily played cards, but they used to cost nothing, and now they do cost something. Capture Evildoers, a card that stands the test of time in my opinion. If you can ever get them for under $5, I would always get them. Otherwise, all the other plus Ultra stuff kind of just, you know, hovering around between 50 cents to $1. Nothing super crazy going on there. Moving on to set 2 secret rares, definitely showing a lot more nicheness in their playability there, as much more restrictive 1 and 2 checks. Definitely not seen as much in the price point specter. I think though this is kind of like, this is maybe not exactly where they want secret rares. I don't think they want them being this cheap and this niche, but they probably don't want them being quite exactly this. I hope in set 3 they kind of reach a middle ground, because I think the ones in set 3 are okay. They're definitely not nearly as good as these, but they're not nearly as bad as these. So hopefully they kind of figure out what they want secret rares to look like and what they want them to sell for. Again, I think they want to avoid stuff like this in set 1 again, where these really heavily played cards are like $30-$40 consistently. But that's where our secret rares are for set 2. Unfortunately, these are some of the most expensive cards in set 2 as well. The waters are not as inviting for set 2. Moving on to the ultra rares, Excited for Blood still holding its $20 price point. pretty normal. That's been a thing since the set came out, and then everything else is kind of just whatever. Double Jab has actually seen a surge in price point recently, because it was looking like this, you know, $1-2 for the longest time. Then I think like the XRs got bought out, and then the normals got bought out, and then there was like a week or so where they were pretty crazy, but now they're a very like normal $8. Like Double Jab Pummel is an $8 ultra rare, maybe even a $10 ultra rare. After that, nothing much to write home about. Howitzers and Airstreams are very, very decent prices, and then everything is just dollars. Dollars are pennies, are not even quarters down here with these two. The ultra rare market for set 2 is just not super valuable. I don't know if that will really change. This card definitely gets better as time goes on. This card gets better as time goes on. Like a lot of these cards are actually really good. Like I would say like these 2 rows are actually like really, really played solid cards. Just with how the value for set 2 runs out, they're just not going to see a lot of market impact. The XRs for set 2 are a little better. XSRs are at least going to reach you some pretty reasonable prices here. XR Excited for Blood are actually not even that much cheaper. I would pay that extra $8 all day. A couple of the characters being like decently priced, you know, Toga, Shoto, you know, a lot of them kind of fetching the $10, $15, $20 range or so. Slashing Whirlwind XR is being a very, very nice $9. Double Jab Pummels are only $13. I would pay the few extra bucks, get these in XR all day. They look beautiful. Same with the Howitzers, although they definitely fetch a little more, going from what, 4 to 18. Definitely a little more going on there. But aside from that, we just have so many beautiful XR, especially the XR Ultra Rares, all going full art and looking so good for just pennies. Looks like these high value targets got bought out. This has been a pretentious one since the set came out, so it makes sense that they're starting to finally disappear. This card is just cracked. Yeah, it looks like it was, you know, 10, 12, 13 for a while, and then it just, again, seems like that era is over. I would be surprised if you can get these for less than 15 from here on out. But not much else going on aside from that. Like again, you're seeing some of the more played ones. High value target. Force and Surrender is a very, very played card. You know, Ice Gliding, even Ice Gliding, a card that good is a pretty disrespectable $5. Again, the XR market for set 2 is just, again, very, very, very reasonable. Small and Limbers only being $9. Serving the Finals, Super Staple Zero Diff across its symbols, $4. Graceful Maneuvers, Super Staple across its symbols, $2. Again, just a lot of Shirley Wood Studies, $4. That's crazy, because these cards are like actually everywhere. And they're just so good. So it's really, really crazy. I guess, you know, again, it's just a lot of them being on the market. Net Guns, $3. Knife Slice, Toga's Attack in XR, $3. Crazy. I bought my set ages ago. I think you should have your set too if you think you'll ever play those, and that's just a good investment. Again, a lot of these are really, really nice looking XRs. You know, even if they're not like the most playable things in the world, them being like less than $1 is just crazy. Pick them up while you can. That is literally what I just am going to reiterate throughout this entire video. And then the promos for set 2 are where things get a little crazy. Our top 8 Selkie is still going for, you know, definitely a little bit of a jump. You know, when they first dropped, they were much more like in the 200-ish range. Taking a little hit here, but still a really, really respectable prize card price number. Prize card price number, that's funny. And then the RLEs are like okay. Excited for Blood is the only one holding like its true value here. Sports Festival is still pretty expensive, but honestly, are they being sold at this price? Last one was the first, that was what, 18 days ago? Yeah, I mean, since the Unwavering ban, I don't know, I'm just so much less hot on this card. I don't think it's a very good investment anymore. I think it's still very playable in some decks, but you should be able to pick it up for much, much cheaper than this. Of course, all of the, you know, all of the new provisional and RLE promos are going to be expensive because there's just been like so few events with them on the market. Erase is still a really, really nice RLE holding. A lot of the Gen Con ones holding decent value. Bad Guys and Meteor Shower being the main ones, prevailing in the $20+ range. Everything else is pretty reasonable. This is very reasonable for Ruin. Texas Smashes are actually only 3 listings. That's actually pretty interesting. These are starting to disappear. Again, I think this is also one of the nicer RLE ones. I think that just when they really first came out, like this goes for the Gen Con promos as well. When they first came out, the market was so saturated with them that they were just everywhere. And now, as you know, we're moving on. I mean, look at this. These were going for like $5, and now what? People are buying them for $18. That's like crazy to think about. This card that was just handed out for demoing for free in masses is, you know, 25, 20, 18. Like these are crazy numbers for these cards. But again, when they first were up, the market was very saturated. Everyone was super eager to sell and pay for their Gen Con trip. And now that's kind of like diluted. Or I guess the inverse of that, right? There's not as many of them running around, and people are actually starting to pay these crazier prices. Blood Curdle, huge pickup right now. I think $9 for these victory ones, $9 to $10 for regular ones. Really staple pickup going into set 3. I think a lot of decks will use this, and I think it's going to be a very meta relevant card going in. The All Might throws being really. I remember when these were like $20 each, man, crazy. Acid Fling and Tape Toss were like pennies for a while. It's good to see them fetching actual prices now. And then everything else is kind of just a few bucks. Learning the standards, another really good pickup for the set 3 meta. I would have, if you can, Earth Stonks in set 3 is all I got to say. And then really everything else is kind of just like $1 or $2, nothing really crazy going on there. Ooh, only 8,000 on the Champion Slashing World. Let me pick that bad boy up. So guys, that is kind of the wrap up for this this first Wealthy Aspirations Market Madness overview video. Probably gonna put one of these out every week just to kind of keep an eye on things. This is probably gonna be the longest one because we're talking about a lot of introductory stuff, and from there on out it'll probably just be a lot of affirming those things carrying over from last week, or just going over how they changed as time has gone on. But guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you like MHA CCG and MHA CCG content, feel free to hit the like, comment down below, leave me some feedback. I love me some feedback. But more importantly, if you want more, subscribe, check out the channel. There is tons more where that came from. I put out nearly daily videos going between deck profiles, match videos, and all kinds of really cool things, meta analysis, and now Wealthy Aspirations, our new market overview series as well. And there's a lot of really cool stuff on the channel and, as always, on the horizon. That's all the time I've got today. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next video. This has been Levi, and I'm peacing out.